Hello, this is Hwan San Sinim. Welcome to our program. For the past 4 years, I have been acting as Dharma Guidance Master at 3 well-known universities in Seoul. And I'm happy to say that during those years, we've seen our membership grow very significantly. Probably now, the number of students who come out to our weekly Dharma assemblies is 5 or 6 times as many as the original membership that was there when I began. And of course, this is all due to the hard work and sincerity of my students, who I'm very grateful to have this opportunity to work with. Now, one of the most interesting developments that's occurred lately, though, is that the number of students who come in who do not have a religion has increased to the point where nearly half of the students who come to our weekly meetings no longer believe in any single religion. Interestingly enough, these new students who are coming specifically to learn meditation rather to join the Buddhist religious tradition. Of course, we have our original members who often come from Buddhist families or who have personal faith in Buddhism. But this is, I think, a rather unique development in modern Korean Buddhist history, where we have these students who do not profess any religion but have an interest in Buddhist meditation. This kind of thing, of course, is very common in the United States, where many Americans will want to learn meditation, but won't necessarily want to join the Buddhist religion. And I think when we look at this kind of modern development, there are both pros and cons. On the one hand, I think it's a wonderful thing to see that modern people want to change and transform the quality of their life experience through the technique of Sun Buddhist meditation. On the other hand, I fear that this indifference toward these ancient, venerated customs and cultures of Korea's traditional wisdom culture could be a source of alarm. So I think there are both good things and bad things. But one way or the other, this is a development that we really ought to pay attention to. One of the things that I hear most often from both students and young professionals, from both self-professed Buddhists and those who are merely interested in meditation, is a concern about how meaningful their life is. And what I usually hear goes something like this. They come up to me and they say, Sinim, I work or study 5 or 6 days a week. And when I'm doing that, I work like a robot. I feel like a machine. Of course, I want to do a good job at what I'm doing, but I don't feel emotionally engaged. And so it's almost kind of like my heart has been shut down, and I'm just using my brain to go through a set routine of tasks or topics that I have to learn and perform and so forth. And then when I do have free time, usually on the weekends, then I find that I pursue pleasure and recreation almost like I'm an animal. And in the midst of this weekly routine of working during the week and playing on the weekend, I feel is becoming meaningless. And I wonder if there is a more human way to live. But I don't really want to go to a church or a temple. I don't really want to become active and join a religious organization. I just want to have a better life. I want to live in a way that seems meaningful to me. So I think that this is a very, very important concern that many, many modern young people have. And it is something that my teacher, Sun Master Songdam, directly addresses in his Dharma speeches. So all of you who are watching now, why don't we assume proper meditation posture, engage dantian or abdominal breathing, enter into sun meditation, and let's listen together to Sun Master Songdam as he teaches us how to live a meaningful life.
산성이 항상 마음으로 애송하는 것은 나홍 스님의 10대 발원문에 문화명자 면삼도 견화형자 득해탈 여시교화 항사급 필경무불 급중생이라고는 대목이 있습니다. 내가 오늘 이 자리에 올라온 것은 나홍 스님의 바로대로 저의 얼굴을 여러분께 보여드림으로 해서 삼독을 면하고 저의 이름을 여러분이 들으심으로 해서 해탈도를 증득하여지이다 하는 그런 마음으로 오늘 이 법상회까지 올라왔습니다. 명자 면삼도하고 견화형자 득해탈하여지다 나무미타불 여시교화 항사급하야 필경무불 급중생하여지다 앞으로 어떠한 마음으로 지내느냐, 하루하루를 어떻게 우리가 지내야 하느냐. 결제 동안에는 보다 스님네는 죽비를 치고 시간을 맞춰서 방선, 입선 방선을 하고 이렇게 지내지만은 해제를 해서 동서남북으로 흩어지면 인연 따라서 이 절도 가고 저 절도 가고 자기의 본사로 돌아가기도 하고 또 토굴에 가서 또 지내기도 하고 그러겠으나 문제는 하루하루가 모여서 석 달이 되고 하루하루가 모여서 1년도 지내가지만은 그 하루란 것을 분석을 해보면 결국은 하루가 24시간이지만은 1분이 모여가지고 1시간이 되고 1분은 1초가 60개가 모이면은 1분이 되는데 그 1초를 어떻게 지내느냐가 1분을 어떻게 잘 지내며 1초를 어떻게 가다듬느냐에 따라서 1시간이 어떻게 지내가느냐가 결정이 되고 그 한 생각을 어떻게 단속을 하느냐가 결국은 하루를 어떻게 알뜰하게 지내느냐가 결정이 되는 것입니다. 그래서 우리에게 가장 중요한 것은 부처님 법문을 듣고 경을 읽고 한 것도 중요하고 계율을 지키고 부지런히 일도 하고 또 보시도 하고 하는 것도 대단히 중요하나 팔만세행이 결국은 우리 한 생각을 어떤 마음 어떻게 단속하느냐에 따라서 팔만세행의 결정이 되는 거고 결국은 그 한 생각을 어떻게 단속해 나가느냐가 천당에도 가고 지옥에도 가고 인도 환생도 하고 그러는 것입니다. 그래서 지금 참선이라고 하는 것은 그 한 생각을 화두 일념에다 집중을 해서 활구 참선은 의심이 뭐고 그 알 수 없는 의심을 거각을 해가지고 그 의심이 또 자기도 모르는 사이에 희미해지거나 딴 생각이 들어오면은 또 이 뭐고 그렇게 화두를 어떻게 단속해 나가느냐가 한 생각을 단속하는 방법이며 한 시간을 어떻게 지느냐가 그 화두를 어떻게 거각하느냐에 달려있는 것입니다. 앉아서도 서서도 걸어가면서도 밥 먹으면서도 그 자기의 본참 화두를 거각해 나가는데 가장 정말 정신 차려야 할 곳은 남이 자기에게 억울한 소리를 하거나 자기에게 욕을 하거나 오장을 뒤집은 그런 말을 하거나 그런 광경을 봤을 때 그때 그 듣는 대로 쫓아가지고 오장이 뒤집어지면 그 사람은 제대로 정지를 하는 사람이 아닌 것입니다. 그 오장이 뒤집어질 그 마음을 들은 그 찰나에 그것을 발판으로 해서 이먹고 한 번 해도 잘 안 되면 숨을 깊이 들어 마셨다가 내쉬면서 이먹고 그 밖에 오장이 뒤집어지지 아니할 때는 그냥 항상 심호흡을 하면서 이먹고 이렇게 단속해 나갔습니다. 그렇게 항상 그렇게 해 나가는 사람은 희로애락과 흥망성쇠 어떠한 경우를 당하더라도 바로 자기의 본참 화두로 그런 것을 다 이겨나가고 오히려 그것을 발판으로 해서 깨달음의 길로 돌아오기 때문에 역경계를 만나는 것이 자기를 꼭 해롭게만 하는 것은 아닌 것입니다. 세속에 사는 데에도 어려운 일을 당함으로 해서 정말 자기의 인생, 참 인생을 되돌아보고 어떻게 사는 것이 바로 사는 것인가 이 길을 깨닫게 되는 것입니다. 사업이 여의치 못해가지고 대단히 어려운 경을 만났을 때도 누구를 원망하거나 누구 때문에 이렇게 되었다고 그것을 미워하거나 그런 것이 급한 것이 아니라 그런 경우를 만남으로 해서 자기로 돌아오는 것, 자기의 과거를 반성하고 앞으로 새로 나아갈 자기 길을 찾게 되니까 어려운 일을 당한 것이 정말 자기를 참 사람을 만드는 거고 인생을 바르게 살아가는 길을 깨닫게 되는 것입니다. 사람이 제정신을 못 차린 사람은 좋은 일을 당해도 그걸로 인해서 자기의 바른 길을 놓치게 되고 역경을 만나면 남을 원망하고 미워하고 신세 한탄을 함으로 해서 가정에 불화가 일어나고 친구 간의 왼수가 되는 것입니다. 정법을 믿고 참선을 하는 사람은 어떠한 경우를 당하더라도 그것으로 인해서 자기가 망하는 것이 아니라 그것으로 인해서 자기로 돌아오고 바른 공부로 나아가기 때문에 활구참선법, 정법, 이 최상승법은 그래서 우주 법계의 모든 법 가운데 최고의 법이 되는 것입니다.
I think if we were to sum up what he has just shared with us, we might be able to say something like this. Overall, for those of us who are trying to live a meaningful life, sun meditation teaches us not only how to live a proper life, but also how to become an authentic person. So how is this done? And I would like to suggest here that sun meditation teaches us 3 very specific life skills that can completely transform our experience of life. The first skill is the ability to focus on the present moment. Sun Master Songdam tells us that whenever we get upset, whenever we get angry with someone, instead of following those thoughts and emotions to their bitter conclusion, instead redirect your attention back to 이 무엇고, what he calls the original 화두. And then we can preempt all of the emotional pain that would usually follow. Now, this idea of redirecting our attention when we get upset, when we are struck by perceptual stimuli, is a theme that I would like to revisit over and over again this season. I consider it to be one of the most important, if not the most important life skill there is, even though it's really a very simple thing. But one way or the other, when we find ourselves distracted by external events, upset by external events, or somehow agitated by even thoughts, internal thoughts and emotions regarding things that may have happened in the past or things that may happen in the future, rather than dwelling on those thoughts and emotions, we simply turn our mental gaze back to its own source, ask imoko, and raise the great doubt, which will dispel all of those troubling emotions. And when that happens, we naturally return to the present moment. We naturally hold a very clear and alert awareness of what's going on around us and within our own mind and body. So this is the first skill that naturally develops in the course of practicing sun meditation, the ability to focus on the present moment. Then, in his Dharma speech, Sun Master Songdam also tells us that through this extreme mental concentration that we learn in sun meditation, we are able to endure and overcome the many difficult emotions that we suffer in the course of our daily lives. When we go to our workplace, when we go to school if we're students, when we're with our friends and peers and a conflict arises, when we're at home in our family environment, and as so often happens in most families, we feel conflict with those whom we love. In all of those situations, rather than becoming overwhelmed by emotion and end up saying and doing things that we later regret, through sun meditation, we are able to control our emotional response. Now, when we have those 2 skills of mental concentration and emotional self-regulation, this leads naturally into the 3rd skill that Sun Master Songdam refers to in this Dharma speech. He tells us that we are able to look upon our past, to self-reflect and correct our own behavior and habits. And this perhaps is the most important skill for those of us who are trying to live meaningful lives. When we don't have sun meditation, when we don't know how to practice sun meditation, when we don't know how to concentrate and redirect our attention, when we don't know how to handle the emotions that overwhelm us, then usually what we do when confronted by painful events and troubling emotions is we try to put it behind us. We try to just go past it and forget about it. And what that means is that we're not learning from our experience. And when we're not learning from our experience, when we're not reflecting on the things that happen to us on a daily level, even on a moment-by-moment level, then life begins to seem meaningless. Life begins to feel like we're just repeating the same old tasks, meeting the same old people, doing the same old things. It's self-reflection that transforms the routine of our lives. So this is a very concrete way. These are very concrete ways in which sun meditation can transform our lives without us having to actually change our jobs or change our schools or live somewhere else. Within the context of the life that I am living right now, we can find meaning through sun meditation. So why don't we continue to listen to Sun Master Songdam's teachings as he now proceeds to tell us how to find meaning in repetitive routines. This is the next big difficulty for those of us who seek meaning, even though I may be trying to live mindfully, to live with open eyes and an open heart, nonetheless, the sheer repetitiveness of our daily and weekly lives tend to numb us. How can we overcome the numbness of our daily routines? So once again, resume your meditation posture, resume your dantian breathing, enter into sun meditation, and let us listen to the teachings of Sun Master Songdam.
백년 부한 수중구요 부지 종일 위수망고나 약지 망리 진소식하면 일타연화 생불당이니라 나 고인의 개성은 우리가 항상 마음에 새기고 이 바쁜 속에서도 어떻게 생각하는 것이 참 소식을 찾는 것이냐 하면은 이목고인 것입니다. 바쁜 가운데 바쁜 데에 끄달려 가지고 정신없이 동서남북으로 설쳐두다가 하루 제가 지내고 또 그 꿈에도 꿈을 꾸다가 그 이튿날 또 일어나면 또 그 이튿날도 동서남북으로 바쁘게 일하고 사업하는데 이 정신이 없는데 그 가운데 일수록에 숨을 깊이 들어 쉬었다가 툭 내쉬면서 이먹고 꼭 선방에 들어가서 방부를 들고 축 비치고 앉아서만 참선을 하는 것이 아닙니다. 마을에서 살면서 가정생활을 하면서 직장에서 일하면서 차 타고 가면서 오면서 항상 이목구를 챙기고 자기 본참 공안을 단속해 나간다면 그것이 바로 바쁜 속에서 참 소식을 찾는 길이라고 하는 것을 명심을 하시기를 바랍니다. 우리는 이렇게 오늘 하루를 이렇게 살고 있지만은 정말 무엇을 위해서 사는 것인가 시간이 있으면 한 번씩 냉정히 생각해 볼 필요가 있습니다. 벌이 수백 가지 하루 종일 꽃으로 돌아다니면서 꿀을 빨아다가 벌통 집에다가 꿀을 쟁입니다. 그 꿀통이 가득 차도록 그 비가 오나 눈이 바람이 부나 그 꿀을 따다가 벌통에다 채워놓으면 누가 그 꿀을 먹느냐 하면은 그 사람이 벌통을 열고 꿀을 다 따다가 먹는 것입니다. 벌은 사람이 따다 먹을 걸 모르고 눈이 오고 비가 오더라도 그걸 먹으려고 따다 놓겠지만은 그 벌이 그 죽음을 무릅쓰고 고생하면서 따다 놓은 그 고통을 전혀 생각지 않고 사람들은 그 꿀통을 따먹고 맙니다. 벌의 입장에서 한번 생각해 보십시오. 우리가 아침부터 하루 종일 일하고 돈 벌고 애쓰는 것이 물론 그렇게 직장에도 충실히 하고 사업도 열심히 해서 돈을 벌어야 아들, 딸, 손자 또 학교도 보내고 유학도 보내고 또 이 세상 살아가는데 요긴하게 쓰게 되겠지만 벌의 신세가 되어서는 아니던 것입니다. 아들, 딸, 손자, 손녀를 위하고 또 보시도 하고 그러기 위해서 돈을 벌지만은 그 가운데 이목구를 챙기지 않고 그것만 하면 결과적으로는 벌과 같은 그런 꼴을 당할 수밖에 없는 것입니다.
So the question once again is how can sun meditation help us to overcome this feeling of being imprisoned in a repetitive daily and weekly routine that ultimately makes us feel worn down and numb? Now, in order to understand the answer to this question, we need to take a very clear, honest look at the way we live our lives, not only on the daily and weekly level, but actually on the moment-by-moment level. We need to take an almost clinical, objective view of the way we actually behave in our lives. So consider the way we wake up in the morning. We wake up wherever we are, we're half asleep still, we get up and we do whatever it is our morning routine consists of. So we may go to the bathroom, brush our teeth, take a shower, maybe we'll prepare breakfast, maybe we won't, put on our clothes, go to school, go to work. And in going to school or go to work, we may drive our own car. We may walk down the street to a bus stop or a train station. We get on the train station or the bus or the car, and this is how we proceed. Now let's look very, very closely at that very simple sequence of events and see how we're actually living. The thing that we most need to be aware of is that most of our actual physical actions are automatic. They are performed through unconscious habit. We literally don't really have to use our brains to perform simple actions. For example, brushing our teeth, taking a shower. This is why when we're brushing our teeth or taking a shower, we can think of other things. We can even do more complicated things like preparing breakfast, putting on our clothes, going out into the street and finding our bus station or train station, paying for a ticket, getting on the train. All these things we can do almost automatically, almost without thinking about things. We can even go a level further. We can even drive our cars, which is an extraordinary complex activity. We can even do that almost automatically. And so we hold conversations with other people. We plan out the day in our mind as we drive. Even beyond that, many of us can even use computers and do whatever work they do on a computer while thinking about other things. So the question that we need to ask ourselves is, when so much of our actual physical activity is automatic, what are we doing with our mind? And the honest answer to that question is that most of us, if we don't know how to perform sun meditation, most of us are watching a non-stop movie that's playing in our heads. In our heads, there is a continuous flow of thoughts, mental imagery, voices, sounds, other sounds, memories, fantasies, all sorts of different things. We make speeches in our heads, we listen to voices argue in our heads, we relive life experiences, we feel old emotions in our heads, we imagine the future and even react to our imagination with emotion, and that emotion can return to us over and over again. There is this amazing flow of data in our minds that we are hypnotically staring at. And so how then are we actually living our daily lives? What we find is, if we're very, very honest with ourselves, what we find is most of the time we're letting our body operate on automatic pilot. We're just letting ourselves do things automatically. And while we're letting things happen automatically, we watch this movie in our heads and react to it emotionally and physically. Our hearts beat faster, our blood pressure goes up when we think of exciting things or frightening things, or our blood pressure and heart rate go down when we think of depressing things. So our body and our emotions go through all this wear and tear over this movie in our heads that's not even real. And every once in a while, when we have to do something that is new or unfamiliar or requires a lot of conscious concentration, then we check back to physical reality and we do things with deliberation and will. So imagine how we're living our lives. Our body is moving around automatically. Most of the time we're thinking about and dwelling on other things in our minds that have no basis in physical reality. And every once in a while, when there is that complicated problem to solve, when there is that difficult person to meet, we come in and our brains take over with conscious control. Imagine even the way we play on those weekends and whenever we have free time, when we find ourselves pursuing pleasure, as my students put it, like an animal. Even when we think we're alive, when we're eating food that tastes good, when we're with people that we like and enjoy and whose company that we enjoy, when we engage in activities, see beautiful scenery, or do some kind of sports or some kind of hobby that gives us pleasure, consider exactly how we're behaving in those times too. Imagine what it's like to put something that tastes good into your mouth. You taste that really wonderful flavor of whatever food it is that you like, and then immediately there is a chain reaction of associated thoughts and images. You remember the last time you had this food, the last time you met the person that you had this food with, and each thought comes to next. Amazingly, in the moment that we feel pleasure, our mind is off again, racing away from this experience that we consider to be pleasurable or enjoyable or joyful. So in a very real way, we are not attending our own lives. And this is what makes life seem so meaningless. When we live like this, without sun meditation, without the ability to redirect our attention that comes with sun meditation, life is indeed meaningless. We are simply watching, most of the time, we are watching meaningless thoughts and imagery in our mind as our body acts automatically, and every once in a while we check in to do our tasks and solve our problems. So this is the real problem of meaninglessness that I believe that most modern people face. And what sun meditation allows us to do is to break away from this nonstop movie in our heads and to take control over our body again and its experiences in moment-to-moment daily life. By engaging proper posture, proper breathing, calming down our body, centering our emotions, and awakening our minds, awakening our attention, and redirecting it back into the very heart of daily life, the thing within us that's experiencing daily life, we come back to life literally again. And if we do this as a sustained daily practice, what we find is sun meditation deepens our experience of life. We are present for every moment of it, and again, we are able to discover and remember and recognize that each moment, in fact, is different from the one that came before. Each day is, in fact, different from the way that we came before. There is no actual repetition in life. Repetition in life only occurs, that feeling of numbing repetition only occurs when we allow our bodies to just behave and perform automatically. When we inhabit our bodies consciously through sun meditation, everything is fresh and new again. And even beyond that, as we continue to practice sun meditation, we begin to recognize the faculties of our bodies. We begin to experience our own bodies and our own minds at an increasingly subtle level. This gives us not only a deeper insight into the reality and truth of the actual experience of life, it also gives us a greater panoramic view of the big picture of life. And this is how we're able to reflect on ourselves at a far deeper level, not only to learn from our mistakes, but actually to learn directly from the ongoing experience of life itself. So along with Sun Master Songdam, I would like to propose to you that life without sun meditation, regardless of whether you believe in Buddhism or not, will be meaningless, will be numbing, will feel like an inexorable process of being worn down and exhausted. On the other hand, life with sun meditation will be an ongoing journey into newer, deeper, fresher, more exciting experiences, in spite of the fact that we may feel that we're doing the same things over and over again. They are not the same things because our experience becomes more profound and more subtle each time we do it. Each experience becomes an occasion for renewed self-discovery. Consider again the metaphor of the bee that Sun Master Songdam shared with us in his Dharma speech. Without sun meditation, we will work all our lives and struggle with all of these difficult relationships, but we will never taste the sweetness of real life, of true reality. But with sun meditation, we are able to take every stimulus that strikes us, every task that we're called upon to perform, and deepen our experience of life, go further and further deeper into our own minds and hearts and bodies. And when we do that, we will taste the sweetness of a purified mind and body, the sweetness of an awakening mind and body. So these are the choices that are given to us: life without sun meditation and life with sun meditation. And this is something that I think this is the most serious issue that I believe modern people face today. Can we live life as if we're really alive? Or will life be just a mechanical routine followed by animal satisfactions? So this is what we need. This is what's on the plate in front of us. The really important question in life, I want to suggest, is not, what should I do with my life? What kind of job should I perform? Who should I marry? Who should I be friends with? These are indeed important questions, but I will say here that I don't think it's the most important question in life. Then what is the most important question in life? The most important question in life is this: in this very moment, where am I directing my attention? Am I directing my attention at a meaningless flow of associated thoughts and images? Or am I directing my attention to what Buddhists call my self-nature, the thing in me that experiences life? If this is the experiencer of life, then when I do sun meditation, I am directing my attention fully toward the very heart of life. And this is how sun meditation can transform an apparently meaningless life into a meaningful one without actually having to make so many life changes. I ask you to consider very seriously what Sun Master Songdam has shared with us today. Now, I believe this brings us to the end of another episode. So I would like to thank all of our viewers who have tuned in, and also all of our international viewers who watch this program through the internet. Thank you for participating in today's program. And now let's enter together into our closing meditation. So once again, wherever you are, assume correct sun meditation posture. Tuck in your chin, align the crown of your head directly above your perineum. Touch the tip of your tongue lightly against the roof of your mouth. Look forward with a soft, open gaze. Relax all the muscles in your body that you don't need to use. Now engage Dantian breathing. As you breathe in, push out your lower abdomen, pause for 2 to 3 seconds, and then as you exhale, draw in your lower abdomen. And as we engage Dantian breathing, on every out-breath, ask ourselves, Imoko. This, what is this? What is this thing that is experiencing life? What is the very heart of my life? So enter into sun meditation together, and now, with 3 claps of the bamboo clapper, we will enter together into our closing meditation. May we all attain enlightenment.
안비 천말 적유사하고 인거 황천 병제가로다나 체득 백화성례루에 부지신고 위수망로다나 다음 결제 때 또 건강한 모습으로 만나보기를 원하면서 법상에서 내려가고자 합니다.